Hey, family, welcome back to another episode of the Thriving Diabetic Momcast. I am your host, Candice Jenkins, also known as the Diabetic Mom Coach. I support moms to gain confidence, clarity, and control over diabetes. And as you can see, we have a very special guest today. We have,
AJ.
and who are you, AJ?
I am Candace's husband.
This is my hubby, guys, the diabetic dad.
Diabetic dad, we can go with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
the diabetic dad. So today we're going to be discussing how to be a supportive spouse to someone with diabetes. And I couldn't think of a better person.
Well, I better be the only person. We talk about spouses.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
No, all jokes aside, I couldn't think of a better person to ask to do the episode with me because throughout our entire relationship, I've been managing my diabetes, and AJ has had to learn what that looks like and kind of just learn how to figure it out with me, right?
Yeah, and it hasn't always been an easy journey.
So that's a good start. So tell us about that. Like, what has been your experience with a spouse with diabetes?
Yeah, so Candace and I met, oh God, how long has it been now? I better know this, right? 10 years? Yes.
10
10
years.
years ago. And when I met Candace, she had already been a diabetic for a long time. But I was just coming into it. It was very new to me. And I don't think I really understood what being a support person to someone with diabetes was until she had an episode. And I can't remember, we were talking about this last night. I can't remember when the first time you had an episode was, but I do remember the feeling the first time you had an episode.
So tell us what did that feel like?
Yeah, so it felt, I was a little taken aback. I didn't really know what to do. I mean, you kind of tried to prepare me for it, but you never could be really fully prepared for it. So what I recall was your speech became lethargic and you started to slow down, and there was really a change in your behavior, which tipped me off. And then it wasn't immediate. I wasn't panicked, but some of the instructions you had given me, I started to put in place to bring your sugar back up to the level that it needed.
You did. You did a good job.
I did. Look, I'm still here. So,
and I think that's really important. So, for because I'm talking to moms and women, I think that one thing that you have to do is to prepare your spouse, right? Especially if you guys are newly dating or newly married or whatever, you have to prepare him. So what I did was I'm like, look, I have diabetes. It's a very huge possibility, not if, but when this happens, here's what you have to do if I need help. Over the years, I've gotten better because as I've kind of, beefed up my routine, I kind of put things in place now to where I don't need a lot of his help and intervention because I do a lot of preparation. But there was a time when things weren't like that, like he mentioned. So I think the first thing that you as the person with diabetes can do is to prepare your spouse, educate them, and make them aware and let them know exactly what they need to do in the event of a episode. And what do you consider an episode?
So an episode for me was, again, a change in your behavior and identifying, because you did a good job of preparing me. This is what it's going to look like, right? So once I started to see those signs, I was like, okay, this is what this is. Let me follow through with the instructions you gave me about when these situations may happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'll add on to that. So when I was coming in, when we first started dating, right? It wasn't too far into when we were dating that you had an episode. Right? And like we talked about, there's no preparation for it. So, but you had diabetes for a long time. And
at that point, it was probably about 20 years.
About 20 years,
yeah.
Yes. So before I came along, you had a very robust support system in place. Like your family, I mean, there were 20, 30 people supporting you throughout the years with your diabetes, right? And I will say this is probably something that once I reflect on it, I would change and I would do differently. And this would be advice that I would give to a partner who is supporting someone with diabetes. If you're coming into a situation where your partner has had diabetes for a long time, and now you're the primary support person for them, they've likely had support from other places throughout that time. Don't come in, I did this, my ego.
Got a big ego.
Saying, I'm here now. I'm going to be a primary support person.
And they say what?
They said, listen, you just got here, homie. Like,
fall back.
Take a step back. You know, we know how to do this. And don't, let your ego get in the way of Candace's health. So that didn't really kick in until after she had her episode, or maybe the second episode. And I'm like, yo, I need some help here. So that I would say, don't allow your ego to push you towards the front. Consult those people who have been supporting your partner. Figure out not only what it looks like for them, but also how you can ease into becoming that primary support person. Because I relied on them, and I'm happy that once I got over myself, I was able to do that. So that would be my advice to someone coming into a similar situation, and something that I would change if I could.
That's really good advice. And just so we're clear, when we say episode, we mean hypoglycemia or low blood sugar. So that's what we call an episode. But to AJ's defense, there was a little bit more than just diabetes. So he was also there for me during my dialysis period, my transplant. Like, he was involved in a lot of that. So hats off.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome. So I wanted to also talk about, and I kind of alluded to this earlier when I said that now, so there was a time, and this is hilarious, but there was a time when I would always say, babe, can you
give me some juice?
Yes. So when I was having a low blood sugar, I was not very prepared. And, when the low was already here, then I would say, can you please go get me some juice? Well, that can be pretty annoying to someone who's already in the bed and ready to go to sleep. And then you're like, can you go walk all the way downstairs and go get me some juice? And so I realized after our daughter was born that especially when I was alone with her, that wasn't an option, right? I couldn't ask my newborn to go and get me some juice. And so I made the decision to create my Thrive system. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about this. If not, check out some of my other videos or check out my social. You can learn a little bit more about the Thrive system there. But a part of my Thrive system, the E in Thrive, stands for establishing systems and routines to keep you healthy and happy. And so I said, well, I need a system for if I'm having a low blood sugar and he's not there or no one's there. It's just me and my daughter. And so one of the things that I started to implement was I always have juice around. In every single room, I have juice. And utilizing my CGM to, when I start to feel a low, to really kind of be a little bit more attentive to what that is. And even if my daughter is crying, and I'm going back to when she was a newborn, but even if she would be crying, she would be upset, I would still, kind of take that time to put my own oxygen mask on first or drink my juice first and then attend to her. Because even if I wanted to, while having a low blood sugar, I wasn't able to do that. And so one of the things that we can do as the diabetic or person with diabetes, we can create a system for ourselves to make sure that we're not putting extra burden on our spouses, right? And so we were laughing about this when I was talking to him about it, but I was like, it's been a very long time since I asked you to get juice. If I ask you to get juice now, it's just because I'm thirsty, not because I'm low. So I think that, implementing that Thrive system for myself has really helped me over the years. And I'm sure it's helped you because you don't have to constantly babysit me or, know that if something is going on that you're going to have to do it, but it's more, I take more of the onus on myself to be prepared, even when, you know, I'm out with my daughter, we're out of the house and we're by ourselves. And I know that there's nothing that she can do to help me. So I'm making sure that I'm always prepared. Like I talk about building my little Thrive kits. So in my Thrive kit, I have juice, I have candy, I have an extra CGM in case it falls off. I have pump supplies in case she rips the pump out, or, you know, whatever. I just make sure that I'm prepared for whatever. And as moms, I think that we can already have this, you know, this instinct of having everything, packing everything in the bag. But for us moms with diabetes, we have to even go an extra step farther and making sure that not only do the kids have what they need, but that we have what we need also.
And if I can piggyback on that for a second. So your instruction about how to help you manage your diabetes has also translated to our daughter. Mm-hmm. So now she'll hear your Dexcom go off mm-hmm. if you are approaching low or high sugar levels. Mm-hmm. And she'll say, Mommy sugar, mm-hmm. you know, and she'll know what that means. Yep. She says, get juice. Mm-hmm. And so even if I'm not immediately around, mm-hmm. She has the ability to say, Mommy is in this certain state. Yep. Daddy, make sure she's good, mm-hmm. even though I know you are. Yeah. But make sure she's good. Mm-hmm. So we're all collectively helping you. She
does. And I taught her that, you know, that was something that I was really proactive in doing, and that I taught her. She would ask me, Mommy, what's that noise? And I say, this is Mommy's pump. And I explained to her what it is. And when it goes off, what does that mean? She's only 2, so she doesn't fully understand. But like AJ said, when she hears it, she knows. She says, Mommy's pump or Mommy's sugar. You know, she's aware. So that is another thing. And I know this is your episode.
No, please.
But I wanted to talk about just how you can instill those values and really teach your kids too, because they're listening either way, right? They're soaking it up. Either way. And so what you do and how you treat yourself is an example to your kids too, because they're watching you. And I know that my daughter's watching me, making sure that, you know, when she hears Mommy's pump go off, she says, Mommy pump, that I spring into action. And she sees me springing into action. So she knows how important that is. Or if I'm having some juice because Mommy's blood sugar is low, I don't give her any. You know, I don't share that juice with her because it's serving a purpose. Now, any other time I joke and say, I haven't had a meal to myself since the day before she was born, and I share everything with her. But for me, prioritizing my own self-care means that this is the amount of juice that I need in order to bring my blood sugar back up. And so I'm going to have every drop of it. Right.
And you're setting a boundary. And mm-hmm. that's part of your Thrive system too. Yes. Creating those boundaries, mm-hmm. not only for people who, like me, mm-hmm. who are in a position to support you, but also for the kids, for your doctors, just anyone who has an interest in your health. Yeah. Creating that boundary.
Good job.
Yeah.
Cup up.
Wow. Like, I know not to touch her juice when it's in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah. Like,
do not. And the kids know too. Yeah, they do not. Their kids do not drink my juice. They have their own juice. They know this is Mommy's juice. Right. That's a good one too. Yeah. So what else would you tell somebody who is, what about somebody who their wife is newly diagnosed with diabetes? What would you tell that husband or that spouse to, how can they show up for that person?
I don't know that I'm in the best position because you weren't newly diagnosed. But I think some of the things that maybe I would suggest are still relevant, mm-hmm. right? So having an open dialogue about what it may look like, even though he or she may not know, your partner may not know what it will look like, mm-hmm. but listening to your doctor, being an active listener, mm-hmm. because you're going to get a lot of information. And you won't be able to retain it all. And a lot of it you won't even probably understand until shit hits the fan, to speak mm-hmm. quite candidly, right? So make sure that you're an active listener and arrive at doctor's appointments. Try to be a participant in a lot of the information that she received, not only from her doctor, but also from her dietitian, from other resources like the Thrive system. Mm-hmm. if you both have an understanding, because here, I'll give you another example.
Mm-hmm.
When you had an episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the time to try to figure out how to get out of it.
Right.
You have to know what to do going into it.
Right.
Because your partner won't have the ability to be able to tell you or
Mm-hmm.
guide you. So having that game plan up front is super important.
Right.
Yeah. So a new diet, and be understanding of the situation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
understand that, because let's keep it real. You know, a lot of your managing your diabetes requires you to poke yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates scars.
Mm-hmm.
And you at times have had self-esteem issues about how those
Mm-hmm.
scars look
Mm-hmm.
on you. But I love every scar that you have.
Yeah.
And I to me, they're beautiful. They show me a sign of strength in you. So
Yeah.
just have those understandings, and being able to talk things through about how she's feeling, not only physically but mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do. I love you. But
I love you.
Thank you. But like he said, that is so true. And you're gonna make me cry. But another component of the Thrive system is the V. And V is discovering your value beyond just being a mother or being someone with diabetes. And I say that because he alluded to the scars, right? If I can count correctly, I've had over 23 surgeries in the past 15 years. And so it has left me with a lot of scars. And emotionally, that can be really damaging to a woman, right? How we look at ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And so a part of the system that I created is discovering who you are beyond that. Because we were talking about this the other day. You know, there's a lot more to just your physical body, but it's like who you are on the inside, and how you view yourself, not only from the outside covering, but who you are on the inside and how you feel about yourself is really important. And just to know that you're more than just a diagnosis. You're more than just somebody's mama. You're a person, you're a woman, and you were put here for a purpose and for a reason, and that the scars don't have anything to do with the purpose or the reason. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. And, you know, we is married, right? We is married.
We is married.
So tell me a little bit more about that. So stay right there with me on the scars, and you know that she may have some emotional issues, and as it relates to her hormone levels. You know, we're all getting a little older. Well, you are. I'm not, but
right.
We're all getting a little older. So
Yeah.
a part of diabetes, and a lot of women don't know this, that diabetes, the fluctuation in your blood sugars can cause yeast infections. It can cause vaginal dryness. And so I'm not saying that I have that problem.
No, you do not.
But it's real. It's an issue. And from a man's perspective, how do you navigate the intimate moments? And so this is funny. I will share this with your permission. But when AJ and I first got married, he used to snatch my pump off. Do you remember that?
I do.
During intimate moments, he would just snatch it off, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" But talk to us a little bit more, to the grown and married folks out there. Talk to us about, like, you know, what does that look like? Without getting too deep in it, no pun intended, but talk about what does that look like in the intimate moments when you have to deal with my diabetes, because a lot of times you would have to go get juice, right? Because the physical activity would cause my blood sugar to go low, and you know, we have to prepare for that. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So, you know, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. Parts of it, you and I have a silly behavior anyway. We we have a very unique sense of humor that
we do
is pretty similar for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So the instances about your pump, me snatching it off, that became a game for us or a joke for us. Even though it was a serious situation, you should not snatch your pump off.
Yeah, don't snatch the pump off.
You shouldn't. But
I also started unhooking it because I knew that you would snatch it off.
You did. And, for me, that was like, hey, it's go time. She's taking the pump off. But, some of those other symptoms that occur when you're trying to be romantic and trying to be intimate are not as funny and
mm-hmm.
can get pretty frustrating, mm-hmm. to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a part of the experience. It's just a part of what we have to navigate.
Yeah.
Being a diabetic, like Candace said, I'm getting older, so mm-hmm. I'm sure I'm gonna.
Oh, are you?
Slightly. So I'm sure I'm gonna experience some things as a man that come with age, mm-hmm. that will be frustrating for her in our intimate moments.
Mm-hmm.
So we just there has to be open dialogue, open communication, having an understanding, and love.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to lead with love.
Yeah.
It's not all about me. It's not all about her. It's about us. So that would be my suggestion. And it's something that we've gotten better at over time.
Yeah.
Be patient with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It can be when you're younger and you want to, go at it, and these things occur, it can be very frustrating. But
mm-hmm.
having that patience, having that dedication, that commitment, and that love for each other, can help you bring it through.
I love that. Yeah. And the communication is key, right?
It is.
So you have to definitely communicate with your partner. If you aren't feeling well, tell them, but just be open and be honest about communication. And I love the fact that because you're so supportive, it allows me the space to be who I'm meant to be. I can operate freely in what I'm doing because I have such a supportive spouse. Even while we're, filming some of our episodes, he's watching our daughter, he's giving her a bath. So, it really helps. It really helps to have someone who is not only committed to what I'm doing, because that may change. And I think someone else talked about just through the lifespan of someone with diabetes, going through puberty into pregnancy, into hormonal changes and menopause, like over the lifespan, but someone who's there consistent with you to be able to walk through this life with you, And so it's so important. It's so important. And I would urge, especially the men out there who are some of the husbands or spouses of the moms living with diabetes, is, like AJ said, just try to be supportive and understanding. Usually moms, we're already balancing a lot. And so I know, like the diabetic dad here, he will sometimes, like last night when our daughter came home with just throwing all these tantrums, and she was just having a rough day yesterday. And excuse me, I think that you could see that on my face, that I was just like, I already wasn't feeling well. And, here comes the Tasmanian devil in here. And he just took her upstairs and started her a bath and, got her to calm down and gave me some time to be to myself, which was really good. And so
but let me just say, that is something that we've built up to.
Yeah.
Don't come into a new situation, a new diagnosis, or having kids and expect that off the bat.
Yeah.
That is something that we had to get to a point, because prior to that, it was a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, emotional anger or resentment
mm-hmm.
that we just had to talk through and work through. And now we're in that space.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And be patient.
And patience. And pray.
Yes.
Lean on God, because he can work some things that even you two can. A lot of things that you two can.
What?
Yeah.
We're going to have to write a book about that.
Yeah.
Write a book. If you want us to write a book, drop a heart.
She's going to do all the writing.
I'm going to do all the talking.
That's true. So I do want to ask you a question. I know our time is getting close.
No, baby, you listen. You got me. You got me.
So, and I don't know that I've ever asked you this. So how can I be a better supporter? We've talked about all of the things that, I do or have done, but what would you say is perhaps missing or you would like more of in my support?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, do you just mean in general, or do you mean from a diabetes perspective?
No, keep it diabetes. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. This is a good question because I honestly, you're very supportive. And over the years, as I mentioned, I've gone through 2 kidney transplants and several other surgeries. And so AJ has been, he's been down for the cause. But if I were to say that there's one thing that you could do to be more supportive is to give me a hug. Give me a hug. That's it. Just tell me I'm doing a good job.
You are.
Yeah.
Yes, because that is your love language. That's one of your love. Yes, one of your love languages.
Yeah.
Is the affirmation.
Yeah. But for me, it's not even the affirmation. Let me tell you what it is for me. For me, it's you're the closest person to me. You remember more than anybody what the days look like when I wasn't able to do much, right? You remember when I was on dialysis for 12 hours a night and then would have to get up and go to work the next day. You saw how tired I was when I came home, but still had to show up. Now that I'm in a completely different space in life, and I'm in my thriving era now, and I'm a mom, and I'm a businesswoman, and I have all these things going on. I want you to see the reason why I need you to tell me I'm doing a good job. It's because not because I need a compliment, but it's because you know more than anybody how far I've come, and to see me now on this side, and now I'm being able even to share this message with other women and help other women through it. It really means a lot for you to tell me or show me like, wow, I've seen how far you've come only by the goodness and the grace of God. And I see now how you're even impacting other people's lives to change their lives, to be able to help them and their families. And so I want you to keep going, because now I'm walking in purpose. And it's not just about me, but it's about all the women out there who need to hear this from me, and all the men who need to hear it from you. And so just your support in my mission.
Yeah. I think that's very doable.
Yeah.
And I understand why you would need to see that. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about the journey you've taken. And some of the people that I've met, either through your support groups or through the work that you did with diabetes or the Kidney Foundation. And, there's a good number of people who did not make it to where we are now.
Yeah.
And some of those were very good people.
Yeah.
And we miss those people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think reflecting on your journey and saluting your journey and telling you how far you've come is important. So You've come amazingly far.
Thank God.
Yes. Thank God. And your purpose now to help support other people to get to the point that we are is God-driven.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Amen.
God-driven. Amen.
Oh boy, well, this was like a therapy session, wasn't it? If you need therapy, no, I'm just joking. Yeah. But if you'd like to figure out how you can start your own Thrive journey, trust me, I've been where you are. AJ's been where your spouse may be. And if you'd like to figure out how you can start your own Thrive journey to be able to go from chaos to clarity, from unconfident to confidence, and eventually into a conqueror, what I'd like for you to do is to join my free Facebook group. It's absolutely free. It's called the Thriving Diabetic Mom Community, and it's meant for women just like you who are both balancing motherhood and diabetes, and maybe you just need an outlet. And so I'll put that link down in the description box. Babe, any final words? Any parting advice?
Just to, most importantly, lead in love.
Yes.
It can get frustrating, it can get difficult, but the love that you have for each other will bring you through. And
Amen.
I would also say, rely on your resources, rely on the things that you have at your disposal. Especially Candace. Candace has been there. So use her as a resource. Use your family and friends as resources.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, you said it. Ain't nothing else left to say.
Well, take care, guys. It was a pleasure. I'm so proud of you, babe.
Oh, thank
Keep it up.
you.
Keep up the good work. Maybe we have to do this again.
Yeah. Oh, drop a comment if you want AJ to come back and share some more knowledge with you guys. We'll call him the diabetic dad, right? So if you want the diabetic dad to come back, let me know in the comments. And until next time, we'll see you in the next episode of the Thriving Diabetic Momcast. I am your host, Candace Jenkins, signing out. Peace out.